Welcome to season 2 of Chris Strub Unmuted. I'm Chris Strub, and today we're talking about love. I want you to listen carefully and just think about all of the things that you do from the moment you wake up and roll out of bed till the moment you tuck yourself under the covers at night. What are those moments during your day, your average Wednesday, whatever day of the week it might be, that you love? This is Chris Strub Unmuted, a show designed for open dialogue, honest reflection, and uncensored truth about the lives that we lead. Today's episode looks at love, and more specifically, why it's so important to find love in your daily activities, in everything that we do every single day. Now, it is February here in South Carolina. It's February all around the world, actually. And this is the season of love. If you're staring at your phone, your iPad, your computer, you're going to see memes about love and photos about love and videos about love and all sorts of stories about love, probably in more traditional senses. And the reality is that on social media, on mass media, wherever you may be consuming content, seeing things, these stories are often a highlight reel, right? You're often hearing and seeing the very best of what's happening out in the world around you. But for many people out there, love is hard to find. You know, love in that traditional sense can be challenging for one reason or another. There's a lot of different reasons these days why love might be hiding from you, why love might be difficult to discover or appreciate, why love may have found you and then left you. So love really is a feeling, an emotion, a sense that's really important for all of us to understand, whether or not we have that partner or that other human or other living thing in our life. And in episodes, the rest of this season here, we'll talk about, trust me, we're going to get into dogs, we'll get into partnerships, all that kind of stuff. But in this season opening episode, I want you to listen carefully and just think about all of the things that you do from the moment you wake up and roll out of bed till the moment you tuck yourself under the covers at night. What are those moments during your day, your average Wednesday, whatever day of the week it might be, that you love? You know, what are those experiences? What are those feelings? What are those little things that make you feel love, or make you love something or someone, or an emotion that's around you, or that person that is around you, right? And unfortunately, at least as of this recording time, and who knows what could happen when we send these recordings off to Max and Jeff to polish them up before they reach your ears and your eyes in the middle of the month. So who knows? But for me, love is love of another living thing at this moment is confined to my dog, who is happens to not be here at the moment. Back in season 1, Link was over my shoulder on the couch. And right now she is at boarded training. So we'll talk much more about dogs and pets and Link specifically in another episode here. But I really do try and find love anywhere you can, from, like I said, the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep. And I want you to think carefully about the sequence of your day. You know, for breakfast, I'll break open my NutriBullet. And I love the feeling of stuffing spinach and bananas and blueberries and yogurt in there, it wakes me up. It gets me going. It makes me feel healthy. It makes me feel like I'm showing love to myself and my own body and my own future by eating healthy. I love, shamelessly, cracking open a C4. We went with the Cosmic Rainbow today, at least for round one. But I love this feeling of caffeinating and waking up and being able to really boldly take in and appreciate all of the world around me, whether it's through screens or through a camera, through a microphone, and or when I head outside into the yard, go walk around the park, go walk around downtown Greenville. You know, man, is that good. I love seeing the successes that my friends, my connections, my network have, whether they're here in Greenville or, through uh, digital means, through an iPhone, through social media. Social media often does get a bad rap, but I have loved using social media over the years to be able to root for my friends from all across the spectrum, all around the world, seeing the great things that you guys are going through. I love using on social media that love button, right? I'm still old enough, geriatric millennial here, to use and log into Facebook every day. And I love sliding over and clicking that big red heart button. If we're Facebook friends, and you posted anything over the last 15 years, there's a good chance that I've loved it, because it's true. I do love seeing people express their happiness and their joy in different ways, right? And I love seeing how people express that happiness in different ways. It's a big reason why I love running, which is often a big part of what I do on a daily basis. We're recording here on a Friday morning. Later this afternoon, I'll be at Orange Theory Fitness again, go for a nice 45-minute run. Coach Key, shout out, you're the best. But I love not just the feeling that I get from running, but seeing and feeling what others around me are experiencing as they are on their own journeys, not just in the gym, but especially when I get a chance to get out and race. These bigger races in particular, when you get to the finish line and you see families waiting for their dad to come back and finish a race, or their kid or their wife, or whatever it might be. Everybody's got their own story. Everybody goes through their own struggles, and it's important to see and appreciate, and yes, love seeing and rooting for what other people are doing along their own paths and along their own journeys, right? There's not enough love in the world these days. There just isn't. And it's a little worrisome to see sometimes how people tend to shy away from love. And I've been guilty of that myself, to be very, very clear. Especially using the word love, and especially the phrase like, I love you, right? Like, those are heavy words. It's one of the most common phrases, I'm sure, used across America, around the world. And yet there's a lot of weight and a lot of gravity to saying something like that, right? And so for me, and again, as the C4 sets in, we may need to break out for a whiskey episode to wrap up this season, to talk about some of the failed relationships in Chris Strub's life over the years. It's the number one most requested thing on my social media today. So shout out to everyone that's pushing me in that loving direction. But when you can see and feel love in your daily life, in everything that you do, even work, right? Like, I think it's totally okay to not love what you do for work in general, right? Like overall, like no one, I'm not telling you to love your job, right? Especially if you listen to episode 2 of season 1, you certainly know that if you work for the man can always take things away unexpectedly. So it's okay to not necessarily feel love for your job or for your company. However, you should be able to at least find love in some of the things that you get to do at work, would be my stance, right? You should be able to find love and joy and genuine appreciation in some of the things that drove you to that job in the first place. That's perfectly okay, right? So there should not be these long stretches of your day, of your week, when you're not finding love in how you're spending your time, right? Both my parents are bus drivers. Mom's been a bus driver forever. Dad's been a bus driver for not quite forever. He was a chef before that. But I know that both my parents, although they might not love the idea of going to work every day, waking up early, long day, this time of year, the weather can be kind of crappy. You know, both my parents often get sick when it's cold like this because, you know, these buses are filled with dozens of kids bringing germs onto their buses every day. But I know that both my parents love driving the bus because of the impact that they can have on the futures of those kids that they are safely transporting every day, right? And both my parents have established relationships, especially my mom. My mom has driven in the same neighborhoods for decades now up on Long Island, and being able to see little kids become big kids and big kids become adults. And eventually, oftentimes those adults have kids of their own. And my mom will drive those kids around. That's amazing. Talk about a loving experience at your job that might not sound like the most fun thing ever, driving a school bus around, but you know, shout out to Mama Strub and Papa Strub for the work that you guys do, and being able to find those loving moments in your work every day is really what allows you to enthusiastically wake up and keep doing what you do, you know? And of course, this should not go without saying, but the love that I feel for my family is really unmatched also, especially Mama Strub and Papa Strub. And as we're recording this, Pops is planning to come down next weekend. So maybe we'll do a little bit of recording in person. First in-person podcast guest being my dad would be a very special experience. Certainly we can talk about love in the course of that conversation as well. But I want to challenge you as we wrap up this episode to think about how you experience love in your day-to-day activities, right? Some of you watching, listening to this, happily married, maybe you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever kind of friend, you do you. Love is love. I should add that. I should add that to my episode list. In fact, Jeff, Max, we're going to do that right now. Boom. Love is love. We should do a whole damn episode on how love is love. So stay tuned for that too. See that? The C4, not a sponsor yet, starts to kick in and the brain gets in motion, baby. I love it. So in the comments, let me know. How do you find love in your day-to-day activities? How do you find love even when it's not right around Valentine's Day? Maybe you're listening to this in April, in August, in October. Where do you find love in your day-to-day activities? Really curious. Because I know that throughout my day, it's those little moments of love that make all the difference in helping me get through to the next day, the next week, next year, and ultimately the next episode and the next season of Chris Strub Unmuted. So thank you for listening to Chris Strub Unmuted. Support the show by clicking like and subscribe. Keep up with me on social media at Chris Strub. And remember, we are all famous to a few people.